allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The Town Council has been made aware of the recent passing of several veterans in the town, and I think we would like to pay a moment of respect with respect to those individuals. Firstly, we're aware that Mr. Manuel de Souza Figueiredo had passed on December 12th of 2022. Mr. Figueiredo served in Company B, 701st Maintenance Battalion, 1st Infantry Division, United States Army during the Vietnam War. Additionally, we are aware of the passing of Mr. Paul Jude O'Brien, Sr. on the 13th of December, 2022. Mr. O'Brien served in Company B, 2nd Battalion, 2nd Armored Division, 5th U.S. Army, United States Army during the Vietnam War. And finally, we are aware that Ms. Anne M. Boudreau had passed on December 20th, 2022. Ms. Boudreau served in the United States Navy during the Gulf War. To commemorate the passing of those veterans of our town, I ask that you please join me in a moment of silence. I thank you very much. I'd like to make everyone aware that this meeting this evening is being aired live and recorded for future broadcast. The first item of our agenda is the approval of minutes from the council meeting of December 20th, 2022. I would entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? One. Thank you very much. The council this evening will be electing new officers, and first of all, we'll be swearing in newly elected councilors who were elected at our special town election on Saturday, January 7th. And in that regard, I'd like to ask that we welcome to the council this evening the two of the councilors who are with us, Mr. Brad McKinnon and Mark Lindy. We welcome you. We congratulate you on your election victory. We're very pleased to see you joining us here on the council. Ms. Susie Robinson was also elected on at the election on Saturday. She was not able to attend this evening, but we look forward to seeing her at our next meeting later in the month. So this evening we will be witnessing the swearing in of the new councilors. We'll also conduct an election for the president of the council and vice president. The terms of those two officers will serve until just following the annual town election at the end of April. So it's a short term, but nonetheless, the duties involved are very significant, and we appreciate the willingness of everyone available here to consider serving in those roles. So at this point, I'd like to ask if our town clerk, Marilee Hunt, would care to commence her process of swearing in of the new councilors.
Certainly, it's my pleasure. I would ask you all to stand. You're all being sworn in tonight.
Yeah.
And I would ask you to raise your strong hand, whichever one that is. And if you'll repeat after me. I, and state your name.
I, Mark Lindy,
Do solemnly swear.
do solemnly swear
I will serve the people of the town of Bridgewater
I will serve the people of the town of Bridgewater
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
creating and upholding
creating and upholding
the town code, ordinances, orders, and resolutions
the town code, orders, and resolutions,
the laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts,
the laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts,
and the laws of the United States of America.
and the laws of the United States of America.
I further vow
I further vow
to faithfully represent
to faithfully represent
the citizens of Bridgewater,
the citizens of Bridgewater,
regardless of color, gender, or religion,
regardless of color, gender, or religion,
honoring their faith and trust in me.
honoring the faith and trust in me.
I will make myself available to hear,
I will make myself available to hear,
and when possible and appropriate,
and when possible and appropriate,
to act upon
to act upon
the concerns presented to me.
the concerns presented to me.
I will serve the town council with diligence,
I will serve the town council with diligence,
faithfully attending
faithfully attending
both council and committee meetings.
both council and committee meetings.
This is my sacred oath,
This is my sacred oath,
given today
given today
to the people of Bridgewater.
to the people of Bridgewater.
Thank you very much, and congratulations on your election. I have papers out here. If you will each come there in alphabetical order. So if you know what your last name starts with, they're in alphabetical order like this. And sign, there's 2 copies, sign at the top, if you look at yourself, sign the bottom. I will do that. They're all lost, just in case.
We signing the book too, or is this in place of the book? The book? Shirley, are we signing the book too tonight, or no?
You might have to get another one, Ben.
After the meeting.
Oh, that's. Oh, okay.
Do you want me to seat you? No, we have to do the election. All right. So now we are going to elect a president for this sitting council. Do I hear nominations?
I'd like to nominate Fred Chase as president.
Second.
Fred Chase, second, nominated and second. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none. Fred Chase going once, going twice. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? Okay. Mr. Chase, I will hand it over to you for the election of the vice president.
Thank you very much. For the office of Vice President, I would entertain nominations for that position.
I'd like to nominate Eric Moore for vice.
I'll second that.
Thank you very much. We have a nomination for Eric Moore, who is the current Vice President of the Council. Are there any further nominees? And seeing none, could I ask all in favor of the nomination of Eric Moore for Vice President of the Council, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none. Thank you very much, and congratulations, Councilor Moore.
Okay, now we'll seat the council. You see there are numbers on all your posts there, and we can pass that around while, do you all have pens? Okay, as you get up and move or switch seats, you can sign the big book. Carlton will put it up there. And what you do is you sign it, you print and sign and write town, the first person to write town council, everybody else can do ditto marks under that if you'd like. Now for the seating, for those who haven't done this before, you see that you've got numbers. We have the ace and the deuce, which are going to stay the same. You guys don't get to draw cards tonight because you've already been drawn. Not worried. Everybody else is going to draw a card, and that will assign where you sit. There will be 2 cards left. There will be for Dennis Gallagher and Susie Robinson. The top card will go to Dennis. For with the G and his name, and the second card will go to Susie for the R. Okay? So.
I've seen this trick before.
Okay. This one is for Counselor Gallagher. It's going to be number 4. And this one is for Susie Robinson, which is Mr. Gallagher.
What does the Joker mean?
What?
What does the Joker mean?
So,
Is that a joker? Oh.
so where does this one sit, Marilee? Marilee, where does this one sit?
What does it say?
It says 9. Is there a 9 in front of it?
Is it line right in front of you? You don't have to put it. Oh, you do have to come out and sign. So, okay. 1, 10, 3, and this one, 3, sign.
You're over here.
No, I'm in Frank's like what? Close.
Anybody else sign? You still have a card?
Kevin,
Card's right here.
I will get it redone. So then you can-
All these council comments won't start with me.
there you go. There you go. Always looking at the plus, right?
Well, at least remember where Susie is and then.
I gotta go.
Where's Red's?
See, I knew I was going to be sitting here. I told you I was going to be sitting here. Jason, just in case we have any questions, I brought my copy. Debbie's got to order some for the new counselors.
You know how much easier it is?
Thank you very much and congratulations again.
Thank you,
Thank
Mrs.
you.
Hunt. Thank you. Kind of like the first day of school, huh?
Do we need
All
name
right.
tags?
The next item on our agenda, proclamations. That we have no proclamations to announce this evening. We could move directly to citizen open forum. If there are citizens who would care to address the council, I invite you to kindly step forward to the podium, state your name and street, and please limit your remarks to no more than 3 minutes. Are there any citizens who care to address the council? Seeing none, we'll move on from there. Appointments, we do have one appointment to consider this evening. It is the proposed appointment of Mr. Mark Thomas to the Parks and Recreation Commission. I note the fact that Mr. Thomas has considerable experience in coaching and serving as a board member for the Bridgewater Youth Soccer Association, and also has served as a Little League coach in the town. And I would entertain a motion for approval of his nomination to the Parks and Recreation Commission for the period of 3 years. So 2020. For the period of 3 years.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none. If we would all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none. I thank you very much, and congratulations to Mr. Thomas. We thank you for your ability to come forward to serve the town in this manner. We have one licensing, we have no hearings this evening, but we have one licensing transaction to consider. This is in the matter of petition P 2023-018, the granting of a Class 1 used auto dealer's license to the applicant Lucini Truck Sales, LLC, located at 900 Elm Street. And I will open the public hearing in this matter. The time is now 7:16. I would ask if there are any general questions from the public with respect to this proposed licensing. Any general questions from members of the public? Seeing none. Is any member of the public here to speak in favor of this matter? Yes, sir, please step forward.
If I may. My name is Jim Burke. I'm an attorney at law with offices at 48 North Pearl Street in Brockton, Massachusetts, and I have a pleasure to represent Bill Lucini and the Lucini family for a number of years. There's a request before the board to the council to authorize the issuance of a Class 1 license for basically heavy rig commercial truck sales. I believe there are three issues that might be relevant to the council in making its determination. One, whether or not there has in fact been a distribution agreement executed by a manufacturer. That document is before you, I believe. There's been a distribution agreement executed with Autocar, which is a leader in the commercial truck industry. The vehicles that Lucini Truck or Lucini would be selling are in fact large-scale commercial rigs for 10, 12, 14, 18-wheel vehicles, and they generally run around $250,000. So they are not your typical showroom vehicles. The utilization would be done basically on road sales. There would be a facility, of course, at 900 Elm Street, which is the site of Lucini bus lines. They have a full offices along with a very large repair and maintenance facility. Of the 11,000 square feet within the repair and maintenance facility, approximately 3,000 square feet would be dedicated to Autocar for repairs and warranty work. It's expected they'll have approximately 3 employees, 1 road sales, and 2 involved in fact the licensing and distribution sales contracts. You have a facility at 900 Elm Street, which is one of your concerns and criteria, which has to be a proper facility. I submit in the industrial area that it sits, the fact that you will not get a large influx of cross traffic. Rather, you'll have a very boutique sales to individuals in the construction and the commercial distribution industry, and whether or not you have a operator who is in fact proper under the statute. I'd suggest that the Lucini name is appropriate for your consideration. Bill ran Lucini Motors with his family for many generations. That Ford dealership was on the Bridgewater, West Bridgewater line. As part of that facility, his specialty was the sale of commercial trucks. From there, when Lucini ceased its operation, he had an engagement and a arrangement with AutoStar, with Western Star, which is a manufacturer of a like and similar grade of vehicle. Now he has a opportunity and has been approached by and requested to enter into a distribution agreement with Autocar. So I believe, members of the council, that we have an appropriate facility, we have an appropriate operator, and we have a good business model for the town of Bridgewater, and we'd ask your consideration in improving the Class 1 license. And I'd be more than happy to answer any questions, and Mr. Lucini is here, and he, of course, would be more than pleased to answer any questions you may have.
Mr. President,
Thank you. Yes, Counselor.
through you to the attorney, thank you very much. Just question, I'm looking at the petition. There's nothing in here for Saturday. Are they going to be open on Saturdays?
Hours of operation, Bill, is it?
Saturday till noon.
Saturday still noon?
Okay. Do we have to include this in the petition, since it's not on here?
You should.
Okay. I can amend this, correct? I'll make a motion to amend to add Saturday. What are the hours going to be, Mr. Lucini?
Start at 7, done at noon.
7 to 12?
7 a.m.
7 a.m. to 12 p.m.?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on that? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none. Thank you. Yes, Counselor.
Thank you. Just one thing, I imagine it'd be more of a Scribner's error, but it's listing at the top of the petition, Class 1 used auto dealer's license. I think that should be changed to Class 1 new auto dealer's license, as Class 1 is for new cars only, and Class 2 would be for used. So I would make the motion just to change that to new car license as opposed to used.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No one? Thank you. Are there further questions? Seeing none, I thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Are there any members of the public here to speak in opposition to the petition? Any member of the public wishing to oppose this application? I see none. Are there further questions from the town council? I see none. I would entertain I will close the hearing. It is 7:22, and I would entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There are none. And that application is approved. We thank you very much. Congratulations. We're very happy to see the business coming to the town. Thank you. We have no presentations this evening. The next item of business would be the town manager's report, and the town manager will update us on the fire station project. Mr. Dutton, if you would, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a very brief update, just to get you up to speed. The survey, the land survey is underway for the fire station property. The wetland delineation has been done, I think, as the council knows. And the design work is still will be progressing from now until hopefully September, October, when it will be completed. And then we can go out and do the bid process for construction at that point. But we're well on our way there. I expect the OPM will be beginning regular project meetings, probably not weekly, but at least every 2 or 3 weeks, sometime over the next month. So we're well on our way and just ready to get it done. So that's really all I have on the fire station, but I'm happy to answer questions.
Thank you, Mr. Dutton. Are there questions for the town manager? I see none at the moment. I thank you very much.
Thank you.
Discussions, we have no discussion scheduled for this evening. Is there any committee that wishes to deliver a committee report to the council? I see none. We could move right to legislation for action. First item for business is Order FY 23-038, appropriation for eminent domain taking for Summer Street property. This relates to the former mobile station located at 46 Summer Street, and I would turn the discussion over to the town manager.
Thank you, Mr. President. This request is for an appropriation recommended by the Community Preservation Committee for sorry, it's not right in front of me, 300, I believe it's 313,000 and change, that goes coupled with the amount that is, the council has appropriated prior, 245,000, the remainder of the 245,000 the council had appropriated to fund the taking and the ancillary costs for the property at 46 Summer Street. As most of the council knows, new members may not know, this has been in front of the council for a period of years now, and we are finally at the point where the appropriation and the order of taking can come together and affect the actual taking. For those that have not been following this, I'll just give you a quick update. The intent of the town after the taking is to incorporate this property essentially into or a complement to the Flora Little Park, which is a private park run and owned by the Bridgewater Improvement Association right next door. So we'll have an in-town park. My hope is that once the design is complete, we'll be able to fund the construction of outdoor, I'll call it passive recreation, but it's chess, checkers, a gathering area suitable for, bringing lunch, potentially a place to park a food truck, and those types of amenities for residents and as well as staff and students at Bridgewater State. So this is the first piece. There's 2 steps to this process. As is the case with any eminent domain taking, you will vote the appropriation first, and then you vote the order of taking. Town attorney has, once the votes are effective, 30 days after you vote it, the town attorney then has 30 days after that in which to record and arrange for what are referred to as damages paid to the either the owner or the lien holders of the property. And based upon, we were just talking about it, based on my last review, there are plenty of lien holders on the property. So we'll sort that out. That's something that we do after the taking and after we're all done with the recording. Actually, I shouldn't say we, that's something Jason does after the recording of the property is all done. So once that 30 days elapses and once we've recorded, our intent is to clean up that property, do a very basic cleanup, just making it look a little more presentable, taking the sign down, or what's left of the sign down. And then after that, we have a landscape architect who's ready to do the final design based upon the condition of the building and also the topographic nature of the property. So we're ready to go otherwise. But anyway, going back to the appropriation, this funds the appropriation. The amount of the taking is $457,000, which is actually a little less than it was about 6 months ago. So that's a good sign. I hope nobody recommends that we wait longer because maybe the price will go down, but chances are it won't. But in any case, we're ready to go, but happy to answer questions if anybody has questions.
Thank you. Mr. Dutton. On the appropriation order, I'm sorry.
Just a
Counselor?
quick question. Cost of, is there an underground tank that needs to be removed? Is that all factored in?
Great question. There is no underground tank. Tanks have all been removed. One of the items that we did spend money on prior to today is making sure that the site was clean. All the records have been reviewed. They're voluminous records on that property, monitoring wells, as well as tank removals, and all of that is very well documented. So we're in good shape.
Thank you.
In case we have further questions, we'll first, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion? Yes, Councilor Wood.
Couple items. This is the second reading, although in the packet it doesn't say it's second reading.
That's correct. This
right,
is
so it's eligible to be voted on. The second thing is, I don't know the result of the Finance Committee meeting, but in the Budget and Finance, we met last night and we voted 3-0 to recommend passage of this.
Thank you very much. Are there further questions with respect to this matter? And seeing none, we have a motion and a second.
Do we know the results of the FinCom?
I can't.
5-0.
Yeah.
That's 5-0 on the bottom of the page.
On the sheet? I don't see it on the sheet.
In the front. Very small print.
I'm just looking at what you mailed us earlier.
It's on the agenda.
Okay.
Moving to a vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none, and the measure is approved. I thank you very much. Following is the eminent domain order itself. This is order FY 22-019, eminent domain order for taking of Summer Street property. This has been brought forward by Councilor George. Councilor, if you have comments?
No, I believe we're going to be acting on this to send to advertising. Am I correct on that? This will be,
That is correct.
we haven't sent it
No,
to,
it's-
did
We
we already send it to advertising?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so then we'll need to at least notate on the order that this is for final
Okay.
approval. Okay. I forgot if we did it last time. Okay.
All right, thank you. Motion and a second, and I would ask for all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I see none. Thank you so much. Moving on to order FY 23-039, transfer order, Bridgewater Housing Authority window replacement project. I would ask if, Mr. Dutton, if you have comments?
Yes, Mr. President, the Community Preservation Committee recommended the expenditure of $363,000 out of the Housing Reserve Account. Again, I will add that for those that are unaware, the Community Preservation has three main buckets that it puts some money into, and then a different reserve account with a lot of money, the remainder of the money in it. So the revenues come from both local taxes as well as state matches, and in this case, the $363,000 is coming from the Housing Reserve Account, and its purpose is to replace windows at Hemlock Drive 672-2. I can certainly answer questions. Colleen Doherty, who is interim director of the Housing Authority, is here if there are any specific questions, but I can answer any questions concerning the appropriation, certainly.
I would
Actually,
entertain
if it's appropriate, would you like to come up and add anything, since you're here?
Yes, sir.
Hate to bring you all the way down and not give you the opportunity to speak.
Thank you. My name's Colleen Doherty. I am the director of the Bridgewater Housing Authority, and we would be very excited to receive this funding. The Housing Authority is a state-funded housing authority through the Department of Housing and Community Development. There is never enough funding to do the items that we need to do. On top of that, we are constantly hit with emergencies as our piping is older. So we were hit with quite a few emergencies over the last year. Mark is aware of these from the Housing Authority Board, but we certainly dealt with a large sewer break at this exact property and a few other interim items that had to be addressed immediately. So one of the items, though, on our 5-year plan that we would like to see addressed are these windows at the Hemlock site, which really is some of our most vulnerable population, and it would go a long way for them to have new windows. These are original windows to the site. These windows are long past their useful life. And a lot of times, if we can tap into some CPA funds locally, we can also use that to maybe leverage other grant funds. So one of my tasks from the board is to definitely investigate every funding opportunity. So if there are ways for us to leverage these dollars, we would do that. So I thank you for your time, and certainly open to answering any questions you may have.
Other questions from the council? Yes, Dr. Hunt.
Thank you.
Yes, Carlton Hunt, Austin Street. I'm chair of this community preservation. We voted to approve or recommend this to you. I will remind the council, this is not a maintenance project. Community preservation money cannot pay for maintenance. It's a restoration project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, thank you. Discussion?
Question?
Counselor?
Question through the chair to the town council.
Yes.
I just want to make sure, I resigned earlier tonight from the Housing Authority to be sworn into this body. Can I vote on this?
Yes, because you did resign. I believe you resigned in writing to the town clerk, so you should be fine.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you both. Further questions from the council? Councilor
No,
Wood?
just discussion. So, again, the Budget and Finance Committee met last night and recommended approval of this.
Thank you very much. Further questions? I see none. I would ask all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There are none. Thank you very much. We have no old business. We do have several items under new business this evening. The first item is Order FY 23-040, Certified Assessors Compensation. This refers to incentive compensation to be paid for the professional education advancement of certified assessors. And I would turn it over briefly, if I could, please, to Mr. Dutton for comment.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is an acceptance of state law which grants a slight bump in pay for certified assessors. Our assessor is well certified and recently achieved the designation that I'm requesting that you adopt the state law for. So that's pretty much all I have, but I'm happy to answer questions.
Thank you very much. I would entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second.
This is first reading.
First reading, I believe it's got to go to committee.
It's going to committee. I'm sorry, this we referred to the Budget and Finance committees.
I'll make that motion.
So we have a motion and a second.
Yes,
Second.
second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There are none. Thank you very much. Order FY 23-041, acceptance of non-recurring revenue to capital. And once again, please, Mr. Dutton.
Sorry, you're going too fast for me. This never happens. Is this what the next year is going to be like? I'm sorry.
This is the state mitigation funding for...
Yes, I'm sorry. This is commonly known as prison mitigation. It's significantly less than we have received in prior years based on we believe based on the population. We're still trying to find out exactly why, but based on the population figures at the facility. But it is $120,720.55.
Thank you. I would entertain a motion for referral to the Finance and Budget and Finance committees.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Yes, Counselor.
Just through you to the town manager, what kind of monies had we received in the past in comparison?
We've received anywhere between 230 to 260.
Wow, this is
in
a
that
big
neighborhood. Don't quote me on those, but
Yeah.
in that neighborhood.
A significant drop.
Mr. President, just a general comment. I found that a little surprising considering from what I've heard, I think the correctional facility in Walpole's closing. So they're closing that facility and giving us less?
It also depends on what the legislature appropriates for that total bucket. So I think that appropriation has gone down, and I think our population has gone down as well. So that's part of the formula.
Wait, did you say part of the formula? The one that we've
Correct.
asked that no one can tell us how that's calculated?
I can tell you.
I would be very cautious saying formula. I think more it's darts in the dark, but that's just my personal opinion.
Yes, Counselor.
Just a question, I'm not sure, probably maybe for Michael, through the chair. Is there anything we can do with our legislative delegation to see if we can do anything about that? Because that's a significant drop. We have a new state senator representing us and our state representative. I just think we should try to see if we can do anything.
That's a great question. My suggestion, as is often the case, is I think if the council votes to send a letter to your state rep and your state senator, that's a good start. And then copy the Department of Correction officials, appointed political officials. I think that's a good start. And I'm happy to draft a letter for the council's review.
Thank you.
Thank you. Further questions? Seeing none, I would ask all those in favor referring this matter to the Finance and Budget and Finance Committees to please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? There are none. Thank you. Order FY 23-042, transfer order, Community Preservation Act, Old State Farm Trail Project. And Mr. Dutton, once again, if you would kindly introduce this matter.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is first reading. It's in front of you. It is to fund a portion of the second phase of a four-phase project. And I'll back up and tell you how we came about with the prospective ownership of an easement along the town river on DOC property, and then along the border of the town, or the DOC property back to Summer Street. When the Fire Academy, which is now situated at the old Colony Correctional Facility, was being discussed, we got a call from the state, and the state was offering as mitigation an easement, a trail easement along the town river, both head ends on Summer Street, but from the town river, across this town river, up, and then along the border of the DOC property back to Summer Street. That is what the legislature voted. The only contingency was that we had to fund the obviously the construction of the trail, but we had to fund the survey to do the to identify the trail easement itself. DCAM has identified a surveyor that they will allow us to use, and the expense, I believe, is in the neighborhood of, memory serves, is in the neighborhood of $60,000. The NRTB, Natural Resources Trust of Bridgewater, has done some fundraising, and they continue to fundraise to offset the cost of that survey. They've asked the Community Preservation Committee to recommend $40,000 towards that survey, and the Community Preservation Committee, I believe by a 4-to-1 vote, voted to make that recommendation. Once this phase is complete, the application for trail grant funding through the state will be able to be completed, and they're racing to try to get this spring deadline for that application in, so that they can begin phase 3 of the project and begin to lay out the trail. So I don't anticipate at this point, it's always possible, I don't anticipate at this point that additional funding will come from the town for this trail project, but I do think it's a great project. And we, as I say, when the Fire Academy came to Bridgewater, the state legislature voted to allow the grant of this easement. We just had to pay for the survey. So that's what you have in front of you right now.
Thank you, Mr. Dutton. I would entertain a motion for referral to the Budget and Finance Committees.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Are there any questions? And seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And there are none. Thank you very much. The next matter is Order FY 23-043, Bridgewater Raynham Regional School District Capital Allocation. I don't see that the documentation for this order has been furnished in our meeting materials tonight. Did anyone offer, does anyone find those materials in their packet?
Yes, page 102.
Thank you. And I would ask if the town manager has comment.
I do. This is a little confusing, admittedly, but I think the council remembers that we had appropriated about $500,000 for the construction of I believe it was the track at the high school. And I think I've reported this before, the high school, or the school district, chose to fund that project with available funds that they had through a variety of different means, and which meant that they did not fund the track reconstruction with the money that was allocated from Bridgewater. Understanding that there was a little confusion between how the law around how regional school districts can expend capital money and how the council specifically voted it, we had a conversation with the interim superintendent and the business officer at the school, and what we came to was that they would actually return the money that was appropriated by the council but not used for its stated purpose, and we would recharacterize the funds and revote according to how that money was spent. So we're basically granting capital funds for the purposes laid out in front of you, mostly all involving IT, technology upgrades. So that was the resolution. That's what we had asked them to do, and that's what in fact they did. So I would certainly recommend forwarding to Budget and Finance Committee for further discussion.
Thank you very much. I would entertain a motion for referral to the Budget and Finance Committees.
Second.
Motion and a second. Thank you. Any further discussion? Yes, Councilor Moore.
Maybe a question through you to the town manager. Is it possible to get some additional just detail about what these line items are, just to understand more about what we're voting on?
Yep, I think we have that. Actually, I'll forward that along to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any further questions? Councilor Wood.
Yeah, question. So I thought they used them for Chromebooks instead of this technology. So is this a new technology that's not in existence yet at BR?
I don't have, how so?
So the story I understood was that they did not use the money that we voted on to restore the track, and that they actually used the money to buy Chromebooks, but there's no Chromebooks on this list. So are they actually returning the money and then making a request for these specific items?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. We'll talk about it more in committee.
Thank you very much. On the vote, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? I see none. Thank you very much. Thank you, Councilor. Proposed ordinance FY 23-007, acceptance of local tax option retail marijuana tax. And I would like to turn this over to Councilor Wood for comment.
Thank you. Just a quick introduction. So in anticipation of retail taxes at some point from retail marijuana sales, the town actually has to set the tax rate, and it's specified in Mass General Law, Chapter 64N. To do that, you can set it up to 3%, and so under that law. So I say we set it at the maximum, and that's what this ordinance is proposing.
Thank you very much. I would entertain a motion for referral to the Budget and Finance Committees.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Thank you. Any further discussion? I see none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There are none. Thank you. Proposed ordinance FY 23-008, cash policy retail marijuana tax reserve fund. If I could please once again to Councilor Wood.
Sure. In studying how other towns use their tax money, some towns seem to segregate it and use it for a specific purpose, and I talked to a lot of people about the possibility of doing that. So this is a mechanism for setting up a special reserve account. I will say, and you'll learn later, this is not how the money moves into the account. It's actually just setting up the account. It's like walking into the bank and setting up the account for the reserve fund. There's a part 2 to this, depending on how the discussions go, with how to actually fund it later on. And I'll make the motion to send this to Budget and Finance Committee.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I see none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? There are none. Thank you very much. Moving on to citizen comments. If there are any citizens who care to address the council, I would invite you to kindly step forward to the podium and introduce yourself and state your street and limit your remarks to no more than 3 minutes. Are there any members of the public who care to address the council? It appears not. I thank you very much. Council comments. I would like to commence with Councilor Perry, if I may, this evening.
How did we start here?
Presidential prerogative.
I'd like you to kick things off. That's.
Oh, well, it's perfectly fine. Number one, certainly want to thank all those that came out this past Saturday to cast a vote. And certainly appreciate the support to continue my work on the council, so thank you to those that supported me. Also want to thank those that came out to help break down the decorations that the Lions Club put out on the common this past weekend. We got them down in record time. We had plenty bit of help, and we look forward to putting them back up next year. Other than that, I again congratulate my new fellow councilors that are on the board here tonight. Look forward to working with all of you, and we'll see what happens going forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Moore.
Sure. I think echoing some of the same sentiments, thank you to the town clerk for running an excellent election, and thank you for everyone else who helped make that happen. Also, thank you to all the candidates, and congratulations to everyone that won. Congratulations to you on being elected president of the town council, and also thank you to everybody else for trusting me with the vice president role. I appreciate it. And thank you to District 1 for electing me as your counselor. Beyond the election, I'd also like to congratulate the Rainwater Players on their 30th anniversary. You may not know, but Rainwater Players is essentially the theater group associated with the high school. It's mostly a volunteer organization, and it's been in operation for 30 years. So this past weekend, they had a fundraiser celebrating those 30 years, and they had participants from Bridgewater, Rainham, from Rainwaters, over the past 30 years come back and repeat performances and do a few things like that to help raise money. And I attended it, and I was touched by just how many people that organization has touched. Students that move through BR as participants in Rainwater, many of them have been out for 20 or 30 years and still credit that program with sort of pivotal life changes for them. So I wanted to congratulate them on that 30-year anniversary, and also encourage anyone who has not seen a Rainwater show to go see one. Usually when they pop up, you'll see signs around town. Great programs, good performances. So congratulations to them.
Thank you so much, Councilor. Councilor Wood.
Oh, good. All right. I want to thank all the voters that came out this weekend, and congratulations to my fellow colleagues here. Dennis, who's not here, is the only one that wasn't running for election, so it was a good election. And you know, this is a volunteer position, so I appreciate everybody that puts in the time for volunteering, and the volunteers that we appoint, as we did tonight, because that's really the heart and soul of the town and community. I like the Rainwater Echo. My daughter went through that program, awesome program. I will also point out that Saturday in the middle of the day, I went over to high school. It was kickoff for the TJ Squared season, robotics. The game was announced worldwide. There's something like 6,000 teams worldwide. They start from scratch, and they build from the ground up, and they'll be competing in week 1. Week 1 is important to Bridgewater and Rainham because BR is actually hosting the first week competition. So, you know, put it on your calendars. Each match is the most exciting 2.5 minutes that you'll ever see in any sporting event, and it happens all day long. we helped with the Lions, and I think that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor McKinnon.
I just want to thank everyone who showed up at the election, and especially everyone that voted for me. I didn't think I'd get as many votes as I did, but shaking hands with a lot of you might have helped with that. I'm new to all this, but I'm a fast learner, so hopefully I can do what's best for this town in my time being here, and I look forward to it. That's about it.
Thank you very much. Counselor Lindy.
I'm very happy to be back here. I'm looking forward to working with all of you, and I also wanted to congratulate the town clerk on a well-run, well-oiled election.
Thank you very much. For myself, I certainly want to echo the
Okay, I'll go after
welcome
the
that
president. That's perfectly
has
fine.
been-
It's your prerogative, Mr. President.
I'm sorry. Counselor George, forgive me. Counselor
Far be
George,
it for me to get in the way
your
of
comments,
progress.
please.
I'll make this brief. Want to congratulate everyone for being elected, especially the new counselors, Counselor Lindy, McKinnon, and Robinson. Looking forward to working with you, and good job for all the volunteers. Very much appreciate all the election poll workers, working for that as well. And even though you broke down the common of all the decorations, it still looks good with the lights. So very much appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. I do want to extend congratulations once again to the new members of the council and to the returning members who have survived their reelection campaign. And I think it's important to note that the contributions that were made by so many of the staff who handled the actual election process at the Mitchell School, it's certainly heartwarming to know that people were willing to work on a schedule of 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., often with long periods of boredom intervening, but nonetheless, they recognized the importance of that duty, and every voter in the town owes to them a debt of thanks, and I just wanted to express that. I really have no further comments tonight, but I am very pleased that we have reconstituted ourselves as a council. I'm very pleased and honored to serve as president for the remainder of this term up until the point of the annual town election in April. And I thank you very much, councilors, for your confidence and support. And congratulations to Councilor Moore as vice president. So I thank you very much, and I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved. Second.
Motion and second. Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? There are none. Thank you, and have a great evening.